Hey all, want to do a follow-up to that knife fighting video. There's a few points I missed that I want to just make. So, the first, I showed you a variety of throws, and I didn't address throwing off the back leg, okay? In our system, you throw your knife just like you cut, and you do a throw because in that position you'll actually have to throw the knife as you're cutting, okay? There is, with that being said, a reason to throw off the back leg, and let's look at that, okay? To be clear, if you look at the first video I did, if you notice, all my throws come basically when I'm stepping forwards, okay? And there are a couple of reasons for that, okay? For one thing, it gives me a nice profile, so I'm not here, okay? So it means that if somebody is very quickly coming towards me, I don't want to be in a position where this is exposed. If I'm here and I throw here, I'm in this position, okay? And I can have another knife ready, but I also am only exposing profile. But let's look at directionality with cutting, and we'll see how that applies to throwing, okay? So for example, if I'm here and I'm cutting down this way and I have to throw here, okay, there's our kano kata throw, okay? I think we call that the fire throw, okay? By the way, void is cool. Forgive me for my lack of memory at times. I'm getting older. So I'm here and I complete a cut. Boom, the throw comes from here. That's the reason for that angle and that throw. Cut. Okay, I'm just coming around after I cut. Boom, okay, into this position and release, okay? Makes sense, right? Okay? If I'm coming this direction, okay? I'm here and I'm cutting basically from this center line, okay? The center line is really where everything happens, right? It's where our base is, okay? So I'm here and I'm making my cuts maybe down here, maybe with two knives, whatever the case may be, okay? So that will come directly from here, okay? Let's watch. So here, again, coming up, cut, and boom, excuse me. Ooh, I just got a little bit of a cold in the, my bad. Little nerve jingle. Okay, so here, coming up the center line, and there's the throw. Okay, just here, pow, okay? So, this direction, okay, suino kata. Okay, we'll call this was, I forget what we call it, I think it was earth, okay? So, fu no kata. Fu is wind, chi no kata. Okay, chi no kata, earth, okay? Water, okay? Sui no kata, okay? In case you can't tell, I'm just using the elements as a way to remember the throws. So there's no innate connection to the elements in the throw. I guess I should make that explicit. That would be from this direction. We're here, fighting, making cuts, boom, and we want to throw from here, okay? Okay, using the shoulder rotation, okay, as opposed to momentum. So that is just here, okay? Or I can extend it all the way around. If we're just here and I'm up here, boom, that's a wonderful throw. It's got a lot of power, okay? Same idea. I'm here, just coming on, protecting, and then I'm coming around, okay? Now, if you notice, that covers three directions from my perspective, but it doesn't necessarily cover, let's say somebody is across in the other direction. So I've got my knife in the right hand, my target to the right. We understand that that would be a throw this way, okay? Sui no kata, okay? But what about if that guy's over there? Do I turn my feet around so I can throw to him? course not. That is when you might throw from your back leg, okay? And you do that, the way we do that is either stepping in with the throw, but if we can't, if we have to throw from that position, I like to use a rotational movement and more or less this throw or this throw, okay? Either shino kata or sueno no kata. You got to picture this here and here, and I got to throw here, but I'm going to do it from this angle because I don't have a target up there, okay? So from here, imagining I have to do this, I'm going to go here, okay? That's why you use rotational movement. From here, okay, just, and again, the throw comes here, either this way or around this way, okay? And it's the same basic idea, it's just thrown off this leg. Just rotational movement. So, now you have virtually all the directions covered except behind you, okay? And behind you, you can use the same concept as to your right. What this means is that anywhere that you might cut with a knife, you can also throw the knife. And that is combat knife throwing, because you cannot set up as a separate enterprise to use this as a projectile, okay? You want to have more than one knife on you if you're going to do this anyway. And you have to do it in a way that is reflexive, okay? And my throws do not, I'm not trying to orient. Sometimes I do miss on the point because I'm not trying to line this up with a lot of fine motor movement. I'm either using this finger to cocks or this first knuckle area, okay, or occasionally from really close, just from here, or even the thumb. You can throw with the thumb, okay? In any case, I'm doing it in such a way, though, I'm not taking a lot of time to revise my grip, okay? Because I won't have time to do that. We're fighting, wow, cutting, and then the throw, okay? Just here, boom, 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 and throw, okay? Then you move, okay? You move across, okay? Maybe you make a big movement, okay? Maybe just a small movement as you're cutting, okay? Set up, and whatever position you're in, make the throw, okay? If he's coming here, I have to come across, okay? I don't want to do that trying to throw. I want to do that with this. Just with a rotational movement, okay? So basically you're covered all angles, all positions, okay? As far as throwing this way, you never have time to do that. And as far as throwing from a great distance, there are better projectiles. Even a pistol, your range is 10 to 15 feet. A knife, 10 feet to really be accurate, okay? And always remember that when you throw, if you're using your body, you get more weight on the weapon, so that even if you don't hit with the point, it's still effective, okay? You can also use this as a diversion, okay? From here, I could do something where I just throw up here, okay? Right into their face, okay? As I have another knife handy, whatever the case may be, okay? You can also have knives hidden in various spots that you can grab up as you use them, okay? So, it's integrated into the other skills and not simply separate, just like we do everything, okay? The same way I throw a knife, I use a stick, okay? I throw my strikes, okay? I'm using my grappling, the same movements, okay? And they're all based on using whole body movements properly, or if I'm using segmented movements, using them very carefully and making them strong movements. Good tai sabaki, okay? Meaning I might move one thing out of line with everything else, okay? And good footwork, ashi sabaki, okay? Making sure that the way things move is proper, in line, in conjunction with the other things I'm doing with my body, okay? Basically, that's it. There's a lot more of the fine details, how to hold the knife at times and how to set up for it and things, but you do that by practicing. And if you want to practice this, just get a tree trunk somewhere, okay? Set it up and get some knives. With throwing knives, get something that's relatively heavy, but you shouldn't need a throwing knife. These knives are not very good knives to throw. This is way too short a handle, and these don't really have much weight. But I don't care, because it means that when I'm using one of my good knives, it'll stick it much better. And I always want to practice for the worst case scenario, not the best. So just get something with some relatively good weight and practice. And the first way a lot of people start throwing a knife is simply throwing it into the ground, because you'll notice that you can stick that knife pretty easily that way, just like this, if that's any help. But if you learn the taijutsu, the knife throwing will come. And that's really the point of this, isn't it?